Stoked. Stoked. I cannot wait.
What a catch by Emeka Egbuka. What a throw by Will Howard.
Grew up a Penn State fan. I wanted to go there my whole life. They didn't think I was good enough. I guess we'll see next week if I was.
It's the perfect time for the Sleep Number Dream Matchup, which of course focuses on Ohio State and Penn State. It's a series that's been dominated by the Buckeyes late, winning 11 of the last 12 and winning by nearly an average of 2 touchdowns per game. BJ, does it feel like this is the year James Franklin exercises his demons?
No, but he better. He better exercise them. I mean, it never feels as though he's going to beat them because he can't beat them, but he needs to this year. First of all, Will Howard, I don't think Ohio State recruited you either, but you did get a bag from them, so I understand why you're on that sideline. James Franklin needs to focus on whom they focused on all season, his dudeness, Ty Warren. That dude is the man. He is the dude. But I love this offense of Kotelnicki, the new OC. Anyone can play quarterback. He puts Ty Warren in the Wildcat. He puts Singleton. He puts them all back there in that quarterback position. So we don't know what's going to happen with Drew Aller. But Prabula, he looked well in last week's game versus Wisconsin. He threw some nice strikes, and of course he can utilize his legs.
He'll take you to school, Prabula.
Exactly. There he is, baby.
Listen,
lyricist right here, folks.
Kotelnicki is an absolute star in the making as the coordinator. He was at Kansas last year. Remember, Jalen Daniels went down, and he ended up going to Jason Bean, and that kid ended up playing beautiful football.
No drop-off.
They are missing Kotelnicki back in Lawrence, Kansas, and he is doing wonderful things with this roster. We were on the sideline at SC watching this all take place as they came back. Drew Aller kind of found himself that day with a couple of fourth down plays that were huge. Aller not being available this week is a concern. But my biggest storyline in this particular game is Ohio State. Last week against Nebraska, they got pushed around. They only had 64 yards of rushing. That was after having just 141. Before the Oregon game, they had averaged over 220 rushing. And when you think bring Chip Kelly in, you're expecting Chip Kelly to be a mastermind of rush offense. It's not happening right now, and without it, it's going to be hard to win in Beaver Stadium. They've got to find it. I think they do, but it's going to be the tail of the tape.
I feel like Ohio State is short favorite here, mainly because of history.
Yes.
A lot more than what we've seen recently. Here's what was funny. You guys remember last week we saw Marcel Reed come in the second half and kind of spark A&M's offense. Probably fit the wheelhouse of what offensive coordinator Colin Klein likes to do a little bit more.
No doubt.
You listen to the Penn State folks, and they certainly want Drew Aller back. Make no mistake, but there's this giddiness in their voice that, hey, Prabula,
He's like Bean. He's like Bean from a year ago.
Let's not sell us down the river quite yet. So it's weird. I mean, Ohio State's owned the series. You would think if you got to go with your backup quarterback, it hasn't mattered where this game's been played, home or road. You'd think that they'd be shaken, and there's this quiet confidence from the underdog. And Ohio State's terrified they can't run the ball going in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. The impact of this one is massive. What ripple effect could this have on the CFP in your mind, Josh?
Well, it would have a huge one, especially if Penn State wins this, because most people haven't penciled that in their mind. Most people, when Ohio State went to Oregon and they lost, most people penciled in, all right, we'll see this game in a rematch. Well, they still have to go to Happy Valley, and now they still got to go to Happy Valley. And so if they lose this one, number one, Penn State is in the driver's seat. But number two, you start having a really, really uncomfortable conversation about what a two-loss Ohio State is or isn't capable of. And then Ryan Day, in a year where Michigan's down and his team was supposed to be custom-built to make a run, already has 2 losses just after Halloween. That leads to an entirely different, unfortunate conversation. So implication in all caps. Like, that's the name of this game.
Yeah, you're going to have to recalibrate if Penn State wins this ball game, and I believe they will win. I believe they protect their home turf. And you hit the nail on the head. They got pushed around by Nebraska, a team that was bludgeoned a week prior at Indiana, and Ohio State coming off a bye. And I understand there's some attrition on that offensive line, but yet it's Ohio State. You said it. They went out and they bought the best team we thought money could buy, and that's not a knock on them. That's the new landscape. You're allowed to do that. But if they lose this ball game, I don't see them getting in. Yes, they have the brand name. They have that cachet, but I'm not so sure in this expanded playoff that's going to be enough.
The narrative for the losing coach in this game is going to be wildly unfair. But fair is where you give a blue ribbon to a pig. It has nothing to do with this. I am going to tell you that if Ryan Day is on the losing end of this, there will be a movement in Columbus. What is happening to our program? We shelled out $20 million for this roster. Why are we not able to?
And Michigan's down.
And Michigan's down, and everybody's going to have a real concern. So that is in the back of everybody's mind getting ready in the scarlet and gray. On the other side, big game James Franklin can't win the big game. And if he loses this one, especially with a down Ohio State, then they're going to be asking, what the heck do we need to do to get to the next level there? No fair, no fun, but those are the stakes.
It is a massive showdown, to say the least. And we have a big Conference USA matchup tonight here on CBS Sports Network.
We are Penn State.
Play